Now you are.
It's on. We're on?
You're on.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, Democrats. Welcome. Happy New Year. So first, would you all please join me with the pledges and land acknowledgement. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among the united cultures. Please remain standing for the land acknowledgement. We recognize that Sandoval County is located on the ancestral land of Indigenous people. We acknowledge and honor our land caretakers and commit to retain and advocate for the traditions and cultural knowledge Indigenous people have practiced since time immemorial. Isn't that lovely? Yes. Yeah. That was written, of course, by Vice Chair Tweety Suazo and Leah Aki-Bakowitz, both great Democrats. So first of all, welcome to the range in the beautiful town of Bernalillo, where the Democratic Party of Sandoval County came in third place in the Christmas parade lineup. I just want to make sure. It was raining. There were puddles that were, Greg's laughing. We were soaked, but we had a great time, right? Right, John? And thank you for driving. Thank you. And I heard after the fact about some minor accidents. Yes, like with a forklift and during the parade. So we did really well. That's what happens when you have a firefighter driving. So, the Range Cafe in the beautiful town of Bernalillo is located at 925 Camino del Pueblo in the town of Bernalillo. Please don't forget to come to the Range during the week for their great food and drinks and wonderful service. Speaking of service, we are very, very happy to have such a great place to meet. And please consider letting your servers know that you appreciate their service. So I want to congratulate all of our elected officials who are here and who are not here on the great elections. We have a great guest speaker today, but first we're going to have Attorney General Barbara Romo speak. I'm sorry, District Attorney. My bad. No wonder I'm looking at her and she went, wait, what? Thank you, Chris. District Attorney.
Wrong gender, wrong.
You know what? I gave you a promotion.
Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. It's so good to see everyone again. And I just want to thank everyone for your continued support of the party, and everything you do is so very, very important, as you know. I just wanted to take a second to remind everybody that with the coming legislative session, of course, everybody is going to be with their hand out, including me. If you do talk to your representative, please support my request for more money in our budget for my office. As you know, my office is 3 counties. I have 84 employees that I'm supposed to have. I can never fill all the attorney positions because I don't have the money, which is crazy. So I'm asking for an increase really just to fill the positions that they've already in their infinite wisdom says I need. So if you talk to any of your legislatures, our crime rate, along with our population goes up, our crime rate has gone up just like everybody else's. And Sandoval County, as you all know, is still the fastest growing county in the state. And unfortunately, with an increasing population comes an increase in crime. And keeping good qualified prosecutors is the only real way we can keep our community safe. So thank you all, and if you have a chance to talk to your legislatures, please help me beg for money.
Thank you, District Attorney.
Yes.
And you know, it's kind of a switch. First of all, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that elected officials cannot ask for money ask for donations during the session. So this is a good time to flip the script and tell them we want money for our community, right? And say, hey, you know, they'll remember. Okay. Anyway, next up is our special guest speaker, New Mexico House District 44 Representative Kathleen Cates. She is a 25-year resident of Sandoval County. She's a homeowner in Sandoval County, a small business owner, and she has been a nonprofit executive. You have seen her here. She is responsive, she is inclusive, and she is a good Democrat. So let's welcome Kathleen Cates.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And so, hi, for most of you guys know me, but those who don't, I'm Kathleen Cates. I am your representative-elect for District 44. Let's go over again. Where is District 44? Where is? I wonder where District 44 is. It's all of Corrales. It is parts of Rio Rancho, Rivers Edge 1 and 2, Corrales Heights, the circles, which are between Sarah and Golf Course, and then we're east of the river, all the way down to I-25. So I have Balloon Fiesta Park, I have the Balloon Museum, the river, agricultural, horse, equestrian property, the trade school in Rio Rancho that's going to be opening up in 2020 in the fall of this year, CTE, Intel. These are all things that are in our district. I am going to spend some time talking to you about what have I been doing since we got elected. And but I wanted to acknowledge it's January 6th. I know it's January 6th today, which is a difficult date in our country's history, but it is also the 111th birthday of our statehood. And so I like to always kind of think about, that we always have to find gratitude in all those difficult times. And I know that nationally, we do have a lot of challenges, as like I state what the date is today, and we don't have a Speaker of the House. So we've got a freshman. Gabe is sitting up there. He probably can't get into his office or have cards or do anything because he's not sworn in yet. We have the people who haven't been sworn in who've lied about their entire history. So, I mean, that's. I don't want to ignore that. I don't want to let you think that I don't know about that. But I want to tell you how proud I am to be a New Mexican. There is not a stronger Democratic state in this country, and it's because of you. It's because we take no prisoners. We go out and fight for our values and make sure that people are educated about what's really happening and they're not just listening to that quick soundbite. I know it's an everyday thing. It's not like, ooh, we're done and then we can walk away. No, we have to do it every day. But I am so proud of New Mexico. National offices are coming to this state now trying to learn how we did it. How do we protect women's reproductive rights so well? How do we keep our roundhouse blue? How do we provide accountability and opportunity for immigrants? How are we doing it? And so our outgoing speaker in our state house, Brian Egoff, we had a night of gratitude last night, and he was saying, we want New Mexico to be the next IT state. And we have what it takes for it to be the IT state. So just keep on going, and I'm very proud of that. So I want to let you know, what have I been doing since I've been elected? Well, I have had 1 to 3 meetings every day, either with municipalities, villages, or special interest groups to find out what their legislative goals are. I want to be able to understand them, to figure out what I can support, and whether it's funding or in bills. For the individuals that are here, I want to let you know I met with the Village of Corrales, I met with the County of Sandoval, I met with the County of Bernalillo, I met with the city of Rio Rancho. The town of Bernalillo is not in my district, but I met with them too because we are good neighbors and we want to know what is going on in that district as well. And so I want to be able to reach out to them. I've met with the Balloon Museum. I've met with the New Mexico Mid-Rio Grande Water Conservatory. I've met with the Sierra Club. I've met with, so you can get an idea. I won't bore you with everybody I've met with, but I have. And so many of you are very knowledgeable about the legislative process, but bear with us. Every state is different. So I'd like to do a little primer on, you know, what do we do up there? Besides what you see on the news. So there is a staff of attorneys who are legal counsel who will work with us or our constituents to draw up bills. They are drafting bills. I'm a freshman. Freshmen are definitely getting hazed and on the bottom of the pack. But I do have, my official mentor is Representative Liz Thompson, and many of the senior legislators have been very generous with me and made sure that I'm sitting next to them and that I'm getting the attention that I need. But I'm not allowed to file a bill until January 17th. But just know that I've been working with the Legislative Council and I'm staying the squeaky wheel since December 3rd. They've been working on some bills for me. And then there are also senior legislators who want me to sign on a bill that I've worked with them on. And so they'll be sponsoring it, but I'll be one of those sponsoring signatures as well. So you get a bill drafted, they create a jacket for it, you file it with the clerk gives it a number, and then it gets put into the process. I won't know what committees I am going to be serving on until January 17th. I am representative-elect, and so I don't have business cards. I do have an email, and so now I have a legislative email. I want to let you guys know. I would prefer if you communicated through that because we don't want any improprieties with my campaign email. And so that's kathleen.cates@nnlegis.gov. It's just like all the other legislators, they put the dot between their first and last name. And I did get that up. I went up there and sat in the IT office until I got a laptop. So we have that up and going. And so, okay, Kathleen is with a K and Kates is with a C. Because I'm trying to keep you on your toes. So then once I get my committee assignments, and I believe at this time that I will most likely, you get 2 committee assignments for your standing committee, which is during the legislative session. You can be on multiple interim committees outside the session. I have requested to sit on Health and Human Services. I believe because of my background with nonprofits, I will, plus the chair of that has requested me as well. So I think that, but I serve at the pleasure of the speaker. Wherever speaker nominee Javier Martinez puts me, I'll be fine. And I've made that clear with him on my second assignment as well. So once a bill has a jacket and a number, then it gets a committee assignment. It can theoretically get 1 committee, or it can get 3. Usually it's 2. It goes through the committee. If it passes through committee, it goes on the floor of the House, and then it gets sent to the Senate. There's amendments going on. I am doing, on your table, I have a flyer, and if you need more, I think I may have more. Myself and Senator Brenda McKenna will be doing a pre-legislative town hall in the Corrales chambers on this Sunday from 3 to 5. We picked this place because it's got great technology, so it can be Zoom or in person. Please go out to the Sandoval Dems website. It's on there, and my link is live on there. So if you want a Zoom link, you just click that on, and someone will send you a Zoom link so that you'll be able to participate safely from your home in your pajamas. I'll be doing a town hall post-legislature also. I'm not sure where, but know that I'll be doing them in all the districts. I'll do one in Albuquerque, I'll do one in Rio Rancho. If you have a space that you would prefer, I can do that. I will not be doing one during the legislative session. But you can always text me. As you watch on your cameras, you see all those legislators looking at their phones constantly, so texting is a quicker way to get a hold of me. I would like to take a moment and congratulate our wonderful supporter here in this room for this entire year. Haley Fortin just accepted a job as a committee secretary. So she'll be up at the legislature as well. It's a very great position. It's a bigger position than just being a legislative assistant, which is what we started at. I'm glad they recognized her talents, and we're lucky to have her. I think they need some help with technology up there. And so I'm happy to have a friendly face while I'm up there. So those of you who don't know a lot about state legislature, we are the only volunteer legislature in the country. We receive per diem during legislative session and mileage, but we only receive mileage per meeting. So the 60-day session is one round trip, and that's it. Yeah. We freshmen, anybody who's a freshman and not a committee chair shares an office and shares a legislative assistant. So I don't know who my roommate will be or my legislative assistant. They try to put freshmen with senior administrators, legislative assistants, so that you have somebody who knows things. But I've been able to go up to Santa Fe and hang out, a couple of days a week, so that the individuals know me and I understand the process, and I get to be the squeaky wheel on the bills. So I would like to let you know that I want to update you on the Corrales siphon. How am I doing on time? Okay. The Corrales siphon. So many of you know, we have a siphon, which is a large pipe in the river. It runs from like River's Edge to clear down to Montano. It is key to bringing water into the farms in Corrales. It is 100 years old and made of wood, and they decided they wanted to look at it in 2016, which means draining the water out of it, which means air touched it, which means it's been degrading ever since. So the farmers were in panic last year, and before being elected, I was working closely with other elected officials and trying to figure out what we can do for them. The governor generously offered to pay for farms to go to seed for last year, but you can't do that for orchards. And orchards are essential in the Corrales area. And this is income for families, and it's ancestral lands. I mean, these trees are investments 20 years, sometimes 50 years. So that was not acceptable. So they put in pumps, diesel pumps throughout the Bosque during one of our biggest fire seasons in the history of New Mexico. So but we were able to save the farms. So what we've been working on is getting rid of those diesel pumps, and we have. So in the process right now, PNM is laying wire to turn them to electric pumps, so they're not as noisy, and you can run them more often with less breakdowns, because sometimes when you run them only during certain times, you're farm 1 next to the pump. By the time you're farm 5 next to the pump, you won't be getting a trickle. But if we can add a watering at like 5 in the morning, that can resolve it. They're building a brand new siphon directly underneath the old siphon. This took years of figuring out designs and stuff. If they put it in another place, it would take even more years because we'd have to get more permits. So we have a resolution now. They're putting in the electric pumps. Farmers will have to use the electric pumps possibly for 2 full seasons, maybe as many as 3. But it's quieter and it reduces the fire aspects, and Senator Brenda McKenna and I have agreed to use some of our capital outlay for that project so that it could get done, and we've been working with that. Corrales has many different projects in place, mostly dealing with fire suppression, putting fire hydrants on Loma Largo. I always get to flip those. Loma Largo, and then they also want water treatment for the sewage on North Corrales, and they're working on that as well. They need a pumper truck. They're trying to build a performing arts center. They've already bought the land. It's kind of behind where the post office is, and so they're working on designs and things for that. The city of Rio Rancho has some road projects. They are not residential. What is near you, guys? Well, they're doing 19th, so one of the things they said in my meeting is, so when it costs money to get everything there. So when they get everything there, if they find there's a little extra money, they go, ooh, what road connects to this? And then we can get a little extra piece done. So they're gonna do Grande between 19th and Sarah. And I said, why? Those residential roads really needed a lot more than Grande does, but they were not, we're still talking. But they want to work on that. Sandoval County is working on. You know that they broke ground last year on the new sheriff training center. It is getting close to being repaired. They want to work on expanding their animal shelter. They only have like 8 kennels right now and no place for cats. We're all working on safety and water preservation. There are a great deal of solar and wind projects that are coming in, and we're looking at the investment of that. And then we're tidying up. We're working on bills that will help with cybersecurity. You've heard, was it North Carolina last summer that lost all their electricity because of an attack on one of their electrical, and there's been a lot of, we had Las Cruces school system was down a couple of years ago before COVID because of a cyber attack. And so we have kind of a piecemeal system in our government, and so we're trying to work on protecting that as well. The governor has announced, so she approved last year over $70 million in increasing law enforcement throughout the state, and only 61 law officers were hired for the whole state. So part of that was that she knowingly, she's willing to accept that when she gave it to him, she said, you can use this for if you need more pay raises to retain your officers, you need to do that, you can do that. So she's looking now for another large investment in law enforcement, but she will restrict to actually hiring new law officers in that as well. She has a lot of great plans right now. I have been invited to sit with her committee on housing because I have a couple of housing bills that I'm working on. I just want to kind of let you know, I like to send things out in the universe so that you talk about it when you're in line for the post office. And maybe I can get some support on it. As a freshman, I need all the support I can get. I'm going to ask MFA to support me on this, and I hope that they will sit next to me when I present my bill. So the governor also has plans to build 7,000 to 15,000 houses. So my question to her was, well, who's going to buy them? If we don't restrict who's going to buy them, is it really going to resolve our issues? So that's how I got invited. So one of the things that a lot of people don't know is that condominiums, shared walls, and shared properties, mostly condominiums and townhouses, they sell for $80,000 to $300,000 each. They are perfect home ownership for entry level or fixed income people, veterans, people like that. So when people build those, they have to go to their county or their municipality and ask for rezoning of the property to make it multifamily unit, and they issue their permit. I would like a state statute saying those common properties always are run by an association, and I want them to require a statute in that association and any future associations for that county, that property, to maintain a 55% owner occupancy or more. So what happens is they sell them to investors. Now you are a first-time home buyer and you'd like to buy it, but you can't access a VA or FHA, a federally backed loan, which is only 3% down or 0 down. Those are the people who are going to build wealth, first-time investors. This is important for them, and they can't get into this condo because it's less than 55% occupancy. We also know that when you don't have owner occupancy, there's nobody watching the till. That's when, you know, the roof starts to leak and crime starts to move in and all those other things. So we need to not just build, we have to also make sure that we are leaving things accessible for the people that we want to be able to lift up. We keep talking about a labor shortage. Did you see 232,000 jobs? So it's now today. Biggest job growth. This is wonderful. So I'm always, my mission for the last 20 years was to diversify everyone's workforce. Have you thought about hiring somebody with a disability? How do you need to reinvent your tasks so that you can use people with different abilities? Do you know that people who immigrate to this country legally are not allowed to have a job for 2 years? They have to have a sponsor who's claiming they're going to support them. So if they do have a job, it's illegal, which means their employer can be abusive to them. They're not going to report that, hey, he told me he would pay me $20 an hour and he's paying me $5 an hour. They're not going to do that because they're not supposed to work at all. And it's a huge labor pool. It's a huge labor pool we're not accessing. I also had experience working with a lot of individuals who come out of corrections, you know, and I'm working with programs, how do we increase those opportunities? So I will tell you that all my work has been about opportunity and accountability, and I'm bringing that to the legislature at the same time. I believe that you need to have both, and one without the other is what makes it so unbalanced. So I want to be available for questions, and I have notes if you have specific questions. I hope you can make it to our town hall, or you tell people about it, on this Sunday, the 8th, in Corrales with Senator McKenna. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, Madam Chair.
I want to know thank you, Stephen. I want to know what's happening with professionalizing the legislature in New Mexico.
So do I. No, so I know that Joy Garrett, Representative Joy Garrett, is working on the team with the House has a group that's working on it, and the Senate has a group that's working on it. The House and the Senate last year agreed that they would turn over whatever they're going to pay the legislators over to the new ethics group. So the new ethics group the new ethics commission was just formed last year. It's 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. So already what they put in front of it didn't do anything. So Damon Eli, one of his last things he did while he was in office was he fought that there's a 5th non-legislative attorney that's the tiebreaker. And so they're supposed to come up with what the pay is. I do believe what I've heard through the grapevine is the House's suggestion is that we're going to keep all 60-day sessions. We're not going to do 30-60, we're just going to do 60. I've talked with Senator Jerry Ortiz-Pino. We think this should be 90. And then the senator actually wants us the legislators to come in for 3 to 4 weeks and then go back to their constituents for 2 to 4 weeks and talk to them and get information from them and tell them what's happening and then come back to the legislature as well. That is also an idea on the plate, but they're just being talked about, and I'm not in that group right now.
Keep us posted, because we want you to work full-time for us.
I would like to be, I mean, it's definitely full-time. I know that they did a study I saw in the newspaper, and they said there's 300, I can't remember, 30 extra hours not paid, and I was like, 30? I'm working full-time now.
Right.
I'm not a legislator. I don't know what they're doing, but yeah. And my idea was to have the legislature be paid the average wage of a New Mexican. So that is $55,000 a year. If they deem that the job is, so a full-time job is 2,080 hours a year. So if they say this job is only 1,500 a year, then it would have to be prorated. But that would be my idea. Don't know if they'll take it, but I think that that's an idea that could pass initially. And so, any other questions? Yes.
It makes under the League of Women Voters in New Mexico, and even though we're not, Jake Mason with the League of Women Voters of New Mexico, and we are nonpartisan, but we do take issues. So I know you has on our survey that you would support an independent redistricting commission for New Mexico. That is the position of the Democratic Party, by the way. And but the other thing we are going to be promoting, we're working with New Mexico Voices for Children for a child tax credit. It's one of the most effective ways of getting money into the hands of families with children. And one of the federal child tax credit was 20 for 1 year. They didn't renew it in the spending bill. So we need to upgrade the child tax credit in New Mexico. We have one, but we need to increase it. One more thing on the modernization. I'm told there's going to be money for your staff, year-round staff in the field.
Year-round?
Yeah.
I hear staff. I haven't heard year-round, but it might be. Hey, obviously, yeah.
That's what I think.
Awesome.
Because you can actually do it in the fee bill, HB1. So I'm hoping.
So no one's having a conversation about. So last year they were having a conversation. Don't pay the legislators, just get staff. But in the last 4 or 5 months, I have not heard any of this. All these conversations say staff and legislative pay. Now, year-round, I don't know. I will say that yes, Voices for Children is also an organization that endorsed me, and I most certainly am going to. I'm sorry, I shouldn't assume, but please assume, yes, I will support a child tax credit. Yes, I support early education amendment. I believe in the K through 12 investment. Yes, I will codify women's health rights so they can choose what they do with their bodies. So absolutely, yes. Yes.
Yeah, when Laura Montoya, who treasurer, was campaigning, she mentioned that she really wants to get a state bank.
Yes.
Would you be supporting the state bank?
100%. In fact, I was just I was talking yesterday to the New Mexico Society of Associations and Executives, and they too. There were some associations there who registered, and I said I absolutely will support a state bank. I think it's essential for the infrastructure needs of New Mexico, and whether or not we have a boom or a bust year in the history in the next 111 years of New Mexico, that state bank is going to be essential for our rural areas. I 100% believe that. I'm working also on bills to try to increase retention of medical providers through some housing subsidies as well. I've been talking to our infrastructure investments. I know that we're investing a great deal in broadband, and I'm so happy that we are bringing it to tribal territories in the wilderness. But Sandoval County has wilderness 5 minutes from a Starbucks.
Are you done?
And I want to make sure they know that we need that broadband as well, and that we might be able to increase recruitment of medical providers if we have that broadband. If they can live, I don't know, let's say east of Mariposa in that kind of wilderness area there, and read x-rays from home or provide mental health counseling through home, you know, that would be a wonderful quality of life that we can use in recruiting. But they have to have the infrastructure to be able to do it.
Don't even get us started on Mariposa. Right? Don't even get us started. Those of us who live in Rio Rancho, we know they have a fire station out there without firefighters.
It's a semi-truck parking lot.
It is. It is. Anyway, any more questions? I know you're saying representative-elect because you haven't been sworn in on the House floor yet, but I saw you sworn in at Sandoval County Admin
correct.
Building, and so I'm calling you representative.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
One more?
Yes.
Have you heard anything about the National Cemetery they're planning to do out in, I guess, Fort Stevens area?
So what I know is what your commissioner, Kathy Brook, has talked to me about, what I've learned from the Sandoval County Commission meetings. And yes, did Chris leave? Okay. I'm going to say, yes, it's a done deal as in been approved. I haven't seen a groundbreaking ceremony for it, but I have not also heard any delays or pushbacks on it. I believe that it's in there. So for those of you who don't know, the state of New Mexico, although we have a very high percentage of military service in our state, much higher than many states do, we only have one national veteran cemetery, which is located in Santa Fe, which is pretty full. So we are going to have our second one in Rio Rancho, which is Sandoval County, the fastest growing county in the state. And Rio Rancho, if there's nobody here from Las Cruces, I'm going to call it the number 2 city in the state, but Las Cruces thinks it's an argument.
You know, I was at a presentation with Representative Lundstrom, and she says there's going to be HB2 junior money. And can you explain to people how to access that?
Absolutely. So there's 2 kinds of money for legislators, or actually there's 3 kinds of money for legislators, but the ones that I actually have, I have control over the bills that have a fiscal impact to them, which are the large, usually governor's requests. I have control as in I can vote for it or not. Then you have capital outlay. Capital outlay only can come through municipalities and villages and counties. They establish their goals. Their governing body should be voting on the goals. I found one that didn't, but yes, they should be voting on the goals. And then they put them in like a spreadsheet. It's called an ICD spreadsheet. And I have their goals. That's why I'm meeting with the counties, because I want to know because I may have an idea, but they may not like that idea, or they may not want it, or they may see how it hinders them. It's not helping them. They know their area better than I do, so they set their goals. They put them in the ICD, and then legislators put their initials next to them saying they will financially support them. That's your capital outlay money. I don't know how much capital outlay I will have, but I'm guessing $1.5 million though. I will have a substantial capital outlay. So I'll be able to invest in those capital outlay projects. Nonprofits or organizations that are not under the umbrella of a municipality or a county cannot get on the goals of capital outlay. So they cannot get that money. But I have discretion with junior money. And in years where we have extra money, and this is one of them, I've been around where legislators didn't even have much of that. I mean, I remember $70,000 capital outlay budget one year from legislators. But many years they don't have junior money, but this year we'll have junior money, and I'll have more open discretion. So if there's a nonprofit in your community or a project in which you don't feel like you have limited sources of revenue funding that can come to it, you can make a request. And please send me an email and we'll give you a proper form so that you can make those requests. And I don't know how much junior money I will have. I don't even have a guess. I will probably won't know until March. So, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Isn't that great? So we have elected a representative in our county who is transparent and inclusive and who wants to help. We're so lucky. So I have a few more announcements. First of all, make sure that if you have not yet signed up for our Sustaining Donor Program that you consider doing so. We need your help. We have been able to make strides and elect wonderful candidates. We're making headway in our county. We are, and we're doing it with your help. Sustaining donors, if you haven't become a sustaining donor, please consider becoming a sustaining donor. If you can make a donation to the party, please do so. You can do it from our website at sandovaldemocrats.org. Next up, I want to make sure that you guys know about an amazing opportunity, and Karen Schaefer has some flyers, but Senator Brenda McKenna from Senate District, New Mexico Senate District 9 is offering a tour of the Roundhouse Art. And that's going to be next Wednesday, January 11th. Thank you. From 3 to 4. 3 to 4. If you like art, or if you just want to see the people's art, please consider joining up. We can, Karen can get you on the list and get you connected with Senator McKenna. Senator McKenna will have 3 seats open in her car, so you will. 2 are taken already. Wow. Okay, so there's 1 seat left in Senator McKenna's car if you want a captive audience, right? That's an hour up to Santa Fe that you get to speak to a New Mexico State Senator and back. 2 hours, right? Well, really, from Sandoval County, maybe we're 40 or 45 minutes. So that's another thing. And next, I have 3 more things to tell you about. One of them is Haley. She'll be up in a minute. We love Haley. MLK Day is January 16th, right? Okay, good. Okay. So we are encouraging everybody to support the annual MLK luncheon that is sponsored by the Southern Christian Leadership Council in Rio Rancho. I have purchased 2 tickets. And we have it on our website and here, and also because it is a federal holiday and a day of national service, our service to the community is to take donations for baby formula and diapers that will go down to help the infants at the border. So if you can donate to that, if you want to donate, sure it gets to the people who will take it down there to the Annunciation House at the border. It's Mike Hanna. Or if you want to actually go to Costco and buy a couple cases of diapers and a couple of containers of formula, we will collect those containers from 2 to 5 at 661 Quantum Road in Rio Rancho. That's our headquarters, and we hope that you can help us out with this really worthy event. Finally, and I see our does he need to talk now? Okay. Finally, the treasurer of the Sandoval County Federation of Democratic Women has asked to speak with you. Haley Ford.
Hello, everyone. I haven't seen most of you since the election. So first thing I want to mention is if you are going to go to Senator McKenna's art tour, the Rail Runner runs Senior Day on Wednesdays, and it's free for people over the age of 55. So just another good transportation option. Second, and my actual order of business up here, as Alex just mentioned, I'm the newly elected treasurer for the Federation of Women, and I am going to be contacting most of you to get your 2023 dues. So if you want to avoid having a phone call with me, you can just come see me over there at my table and we'll get it squared away today. That's all. Thanks.
The most charming bill collector I've ever known.
So one of the benefits to being a member of the Women's Federation, and one of the things that I love the absolute most, is the legislative field trip from the Women's Federation. So members of the Women's Federation, who by the way are not all women, it's okay, right? Take the train up to Santa Fe and meet with legislators and spend some time watching the legislative business happen, and have lunch, and then walk around the roundhouse, and then have margaritas and get on the train and come back. So that's January 25th. For those of you who know me, what a great drinker I am, I have like half. Okay, I split it with somebody if I have one at also. Let's see. The other thing is, second Saturday will take place on Saturday, January 14th at 11 a.m. at Matucci's in Rio Rancho with special guest speaker, New Mexico Senator Brenda McKenna, another one of our wonderful democratic, accessible, and transparent leaders. Corrales Town Hall with Senator McKenna and Representative Kathleen Cates is on Sunday, January 8th. Kathleen already told you about that. But if you forget, you can just go to sandovaldemocrats.org, click on events, look at our schedule, and you can get all the information that you need. If you decide that you want to attend online, you can get that information there too by just clicking on the event on the calendar. So visit our website for more information regarding all of our events. Our internal party elections are taking place this spring. Please consider volunteering to organize your neighborhood. Could I please see a hand of those people who are precinct, ward chairs, or executive officers? Raise your hand. Thank you for your service. Did you notice something here? We don't have enough. We don't have enough. So let me just tell you, this past election cycle, we had an entire ward that we didn't touch. We did not step 1 foot there. We did say, it's yours, Ward I, yeah. We have a great new board chair coming on deck, George, hey. And so we need more volunteers. And it's easy, guys. Really, if you want to be a precinct chair, you're going to get a list of active Democrats and you're going to invite them over, or email them, or call them individually, whatever you're comfortable with. And you're going to ask them if they want more information and how, if they would consider helping us out. So that's it. I swear to you. You don't have to even ask them for money. That's my job. I ask people for money all the time, right? I just did. So.
Alex, I have a question.
Yes, you have a question.
You talked about having coffee at the shop. Would that be a great place to invite people who you talk to?
Yes. Well, the coffees are not going to they're not going to be like first Friday or second Saturday.
Right.
They're purely social. This month it's going to be January 28th at 661 Quantum Road. I've reserved the conference room if we want to get in out of the elements. We have our office there, and we have Opal Docs Coffee, who has great coffee, right? So that is just a social event. Come and talk to other Democrats, right? So that's something that we're also doing. So yes, that would be a great thing to invite people to. Yes, 11. All of our events are at 11, 11, 11, because that way people can remember it. Really? It's so I can remember 11. Okay? So, and Matucci's next Saturday, 11. Let's see, you can sign up for our newsletter at our website at sandovaldemocrats.org. Please remember we are all volunteer run and we're doing the best that we can. Our newsletter includes find out what our chair is focusing on. There's always a message from the chair. Learn about what our elected officials are doing, read about efforts of local progressive organizations, peruse opinions and fact checks, discover volunteer opportunities, and more. So like us on social media, share our posts on Twitter. I don't know, anybody still on Twitter? I quit Twitter. Yeah, okay, so maybe not Twitter, but Instagram and Facebook, right? So thank you all for turning out today. We really appreciate you, and go blue.